Someone or something hit the switch. Everything faded to black. My world seems to have lost its colors. Maybe I need an out of service sign, or maybe clothes would be better suited for my situation. Lately, my own world is like a prison. The little light that comes is immediately replaced with clouds of worry, raining doubts due to several seasons of mistakes and occasional storms of depression. Feeling like a swimmer stuck in a race he can't win, if I don't think quickly, the only choices are literally to sink or swim. I don't want the finish line to be the ultimate end. I want it to lead me to more days in the sun. Gotta get out of this losing streak. After being down for so long, I'm determined to prevail. My name is BuddahDesmond. That was the title poem of my very first volume of poetry called Prevail, Poems on Life, Love, and Politics. It is a atypical volume of poetry in the sense that I don't really stick to traditional forms that much. It can be very, very untraditional. Sometimes the subject matter is heavy, maybe in your face, confrontational. But it's about things that I'm sure that everyone in this room could probably relate to in some way, shape, or form. If you can't, then you know someone who can. And again, they're inspired by life experiences, by myself, people that I know and care about, and people that are merely acquaintances. And this is just my rendition of those experiences. So I'll do a couple of poems from each of those sections for you tonight. Some may go right into, a few I might offer a little bit of an intro into how it came about, which I'll do with this next one. This next one is called Gone Too Soon. For a society that prides itself on freedom, it's amazing that still to this day, it is very difficult for people who don't fit inside of the box and that may be labeled as the other cannot truly be themselves. And in instances where it's at an extreme, they often don't make it. And those are instances that simply should not happen anymore. If you've been paying attention to what's been going on in current events lately, then you know what I'm talking about. And hopefully it'll be clearer once I get into it. Battling. Fighting for the world every day. Trying to stand on firm ground that changes like the DC metro area weather. Not knowing when it's safe to be you or when it's best to retreat. It's safer on the inside sometimes. The golden era ended quicker than you could comprehend, and you were thrust upon the audacity of disgust and hatred from the people you thought were your friends, people you thought were your family, people who said they loved you, but you just could not seem to trust. You've walked a line that many people claim they can handle, but couldn't, even if humanity depended on it. It's a line that you don't want to walk. It's a line that often runs faster than the speed of sound and light, with a soundtrack that repeats daily, and you're tired of hearing it. Living in a world where people get high off of ridicule and bullying, one is left numb, not wanting to deal. The help you need never arrives when you need it. It always comes too late. You push and push and push and push, and you keep pushing, but the force always seems to kill your spirit. It was at first a temporary thing, but the period of death begins to outlast the periods of rebirth. There's a lot that you can and have dealt with, but it's the pain and the lasting effects that cut you down to nubs, that hurt practically man's, defying the comprehension of depth. If you could only find relief, a sweet release from it all, if, only, if. The inner light quickly fades, time halts, and you succumb to a place where your spirit will forever reign. You'll be safe from harm and healed from a lifetime of pain. If only it didn't have to come to this. If, only, if you'd still be here. If, only, if you could have been saved. This next poem is called Tonight. Tonight there will be no deaths. Just jumping cities of light, jubilant crowds, and our guardian angel, Joy, will be working overtime to ensure we all have a good time. Tonight, there will be no war. Ominous clouds will give way. Towns will break free of evil's stronghold, and the goodness that lives within mankind, our world, it will illuminate. Tonight, there will be no tears, for our eyes will see the glory of a true promised land, where harmony isn't only found in song, and the people are proponents of eternal peace. Tonight will be a reprieve from so many nights of senseless madness and untimely loss, renewing our sense in a world where faith is never doubted and the respect for all things living never wavers. Given these times, hope remains strong, that tonight won't be a passing fad or memory, for there's no reason why every night cannot be like tonight. All right, this next poem comes from, actually the next two poems come from the love section. This one is called Power of Love, a Contemporary Aside. And this one was written during the 2004 election. And if you remember back, there were a lot of moral values, family values, and things of that nature being pushed. And they kind of sort of created a rift between so many of our communities here within the society. And probably if you take a look across the other side of the globe, probably some of the issues there. So this is my response to what was going on during that time. Nothing's worse than men obsessed with power, having the all-consuming ability to exercise control and influence over others, like beasts foaming at the mouth with the high of going in for the kill. Maybe it's the elevated nature of the position, this putting on a pedestal type treatment, or it's simply a common case of ego. When all of the attention has blown one's head up to the size of a Goodyear blimp, when arrogance and ignorance have taken the place of humanity, decency, and common sense. There's this godlike attitude, this I can do no wrong mentality, this holier than thou, my way is the only way because there is no other way frame of mind. But let me put it to you quite simply. Your shit stinks too. You may make decisions about the economy, education, healthcare, defense, and other facets of our government and society. But you will never have the power to control the heart, for the heart cannot be contained. You will never be able to control anyone's ability to love, for love is divine. You will never be able to tell anyone who they can or cannot love, for love is essential to living. Like breathing, it's a natural thing that cannot be controlled by man. Love is too powerful. It's stronger than man. Continuing to push the issue will not make it any better. Continuing to push the issue will only make things worse, causing us to divide even further. Love is not a choice. And who you happen to love and who happens to love you is not an alternative lifestyle. There is nothing alternative about love. Love is an essential part of life, essential to feeling complete. There is no substitute. There is no alternative to something we all have an innate need for and right to experience and share. Love will forever reign supreme. And many of these poems were culled from the last 10 or 12 years. I have to admit I've been sitting on a whole bunch of work and I wanted to brag about it, but it's been sitting there. It took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to put into the book, but I wanted it to be something that was varied, that talked about so many things that happened to me and the world around me within that time period. And this next poem is called Luther is Love, and it was written right after Luther Vandross passed. And for all of those who are fans of Luther Vandross, I hope you will appreciate this. But before I go into it, I would have to say that there is no one that has come since him that has been able to replace him. And
Amen.
Probably never will.
Amen.
He was a class act, and he always will be.
That's right.
Luther, or Lufa, as some of us like to call you, still in denial about your passing on, doesn't seem real. Gone too soon, but never, ever forgotten. Luther, the silky, smooth voice, flawless, full of passion and emotion, consummate artistry and professionalism, a rare commodity, especially in the world of contemporary music. You will remain in a class all your own. Luther, exemplifying class and grace on and off the record. Media seems to want to out you now, but whatever your sexual orientation, it wasn't and isn't an issue. Media also wants to seem to make a big deal about your weight, but that was just as insignificant with us as well. It's the contributions you made that matter. It's who you were as a person that matters. Luther, you sang in a way that made us feel like you were only singing to us, expressing all that we were feeling. It was a musical connection that became deeply personal and spiritual. You touched us in so many ways. For you, we are forever grateful. Luther, you spoke of love in all its splendor. You are the balladeer of love, one of the greats. Your music and spirit will continue to move us eternally. You will always be loved, for you are love. Luther is love. These last three poems come from the politics section of the book. And as sad as it is to say, everything in this life is political. This poem is called Everyday Drugs. And when I look back at the commercials that I used to see on TV between high school and college, it seemed like there was a proliferation of commercials about pharmaceutical drugs. And as a child, it was something that, okay, 10 minutes, thank you. As a child, it was something that I was like, I don't remember seeing all of these. Why is it all of a sudden that we're seeing all these commercials about pharmaceutical drugs? It's like the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies are pushing them harder than the people in the streets. And these can be just as addicting, if not more so, than what you can get on the corner. So this is Everyday Drugs. It seems like every time I turn on the TV, there is a new commercial for yet another drug. The typical drug commercial with the typical sufferer of some ailment. The ailment prevented the sufferer from living a normal life. Then they found out about this particular drug, and now they're feeling almost brand new. They've gotten their life back, and all because of this particular drug. They try to make you think it's easy for you to get it, too. They try to make you think you need it, too. Call the 1-800 number or ask your doctor for a prescription to see if this drug is right for you. Then my favorite part comes up, side effects. Some common side effects may include dry mouth, constipation, headache, irregular heartbeat, abdominal pain, sexual side effects, internal bleeding, and in some rare cases, blindness or premature death. If you're on an MAOI or pregnant, please speak to your doctor beforehand. But of course, they try to say it so fast like you almost can't catch it, like, oh, this isn't a big deal. This may not happen to you, so go ahead and get the drug anyway. It's sickening. The side effects are usually worse than whatever you're taking the drug for. It's a trade-off, and a dire one at that. Drugs, all these damn drugs. It seems like we got a drug for everything. There's probably something out there to help your eyes stop from twitching. It's sick in this drug-addicted, codependent society of ours, both legal and illegal. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to pay dearly for it. And the manufacturers and sellers are going to do all that they can to make you think you need it too. So why don't you talk to your doctor today to see if this drug is right for you? Alright, this one is called Past, Present, Future. I often wonder if our ancestors are pleased with our progress. Looking down on us, would they hold their heads high in praise or bow them down in shame? Would they feel that everything they fought for was in vain? Would they feel we are living up to the legacy they left behind? It's a valid question considering the disparities within our community. There are disconnects between generations and classes, between faith and moral values, between the revolutionary and the righteous, between traditional and unconventional, between family and community. Sometimes it seems as if we are the ghosts of what we were before, but the shades of greatness remain. But the people have yet to figure out how to channel its power. All is not lost, yet all is not fully realized. I hope that our ancestors have not given up on us the way we have given up on each other. I hope they feel we all can come together to believe and dream and fight to win again, because it's there, it never left. We were born to survive in even the bleakest of situations. There's still time to mobilize. There's still hope and faith that we can get it together and bring everyone to the same place again. We just cannot forget about what was. We can't forget about who fought the many battles and won. We can't forget about our ancestors. We must think of them because they are why we are here and why we must go on. Alright, this last poem is called Politricking. And as you will more than likely figure it out, you'll know why, and I'm sure before I even get into the poem, you know why it's called politricking. This is an election year. The politricking has only begun, and I'm sure that even after the person gets reelected or elected, no offense to anybody that's a supporter, I'm not going to say the name. It's going to continue to get ugly. And if things don't improve the way that everyone wants them to, then it'll be even uglier. Hence, politricking. There are politricking on the hill, taking lobbyist dollar bills, claiming they keep it real when they can't give us something we can feel. They make promises they can't keep, forgetting what they sow, they will reap, lying to themselves and others to get a seat, but when it all falls down, the incumbent will get beat. Your approach is haughty and self-righteous. You come off cocky, act like you're the second coming of the Messiah. So sad people caught on to bullshit, discovered you were only out looking for your personal interests. You got it bad and that ain't good. Got the nerve to say you were misunderstood. You give politics and government a bad name. Liars, thieves, cheaters, adulterers, and politicians. People will say they're all the same. You're oblivious to the people you represent. You act like this is a game when it's a commitment. You constantly cut and run and confuse the masses with doublespeak, while your quest to save moral values has only divided and made us weak. The time has come and people see you for what you are. They're ashamed they let you get this far. But when the time comes, they know exactly what to do. Find the next best thing and get rid of you. So that was an introduction to BuddahDesmond's Prevail, Poems on Life, Love, and Politics. I have soft covers for $10 in the area next door. I have hard covers for $20. I will say that if I'm in the area, and if you're still here and you're interested, get them for me because my prices are even cheaper than Amazon. But the hope for with this volume of poetry is that no matter what it is that we go through in this life, we all have to prevail. And while the subject matter may not be nice, it may not be easy to digest, it may even be a little bit too much for some. But whatever it is, I hope that there is a message that it leaves you with hope, it leaves you with faith, with determination and persistence. Because if you do prevail, any and everything is possible. Thank you.